Peace, love, and law. Let's look at this one more time, right? Value versus money. So we all look at money now as if it's valuable. But let's look at back in the days, right? Back in the days, let's say someone wanted to go into business, right? They had an option to take their gold or their silver, but let's look at gold right now, to the bank. And the bank would lend them something so that they could play the game of commerce. So what bank would lend them would be a note. Basically, would be the receipt that the bank is holding something of value, which is gold. And this note, not only being a receipt, would be a promise to pay to whoever owns the note, holds the note, that they would get gold for this. If this piece of paper was returned back to the bank, they could redeem it in gold. So in this scenario right here, we look at the bank notes. Whenever the bank note was representation of value gold, the debtor was the bank. All right, and then this note right here would be very, very useful to operate in commerce and exchange it with merchants, right? Because commerce is another world. It's fiction. But it's very useful to use these notes. Now, nowadays, right, if we look at the bank notes of today, right, the bank notes of today, which are the central bank notes, the debtor is no longer the bank. It's not the bank. When the gold was taken out of circulation, right, the gold standard, right, something happened. A little switch happened. The bank went from being the debtor to now the government is the debtor. In the fiat money, fiat currency, the government is the debtor. The bank acquires an interest in the value that the government gave. Now, what's happening here? What's going on? What's the difference? Well, let's look at the scenario of a loan, right? Because when a man or a woman wants to play the game of commerce and wants to deal with merchants, that would be every shop right now, every agency, they're all merchants now. Back in the days, that wasn't the case. Not everybody was a merchant back in the days. Not everybody used money back in the days. People just traded and bartered, right? Money was a thing for merchants. But nowadays, everybody's a merchant. If you have a birth certificate, you're a merchant. So now, if you want to borrow these merchant tokens or pieces of IOU paper right here, these currencies, to exchange with merchants, you go to the bank to borrow these things right here. And they would lend you some of these, but you have to give them something. So if you go and you sign a loan agreement, you're going to create a promissory note, right? And then that promissory note will be given to the bank, and the bank would then choose to accept it. And if he accepts it, he'll give you some credit into where you can then acquire some of these notes. But this note right here wouldn't be a promise to pay from the bank. It would be from the government. The government is the debtor in these notes. But what is happening is that, let's take a step back, because the government does the same thing. The government, when they want to acquire a loan or extension or whatnot, they go to the central bank and they have to give bonds, right? Bonds. What are bonds? Same thing, promissory notes. But the difference is that the government gives them some value. What's the value? It gives them an interest. It says, I want to borrow some of these right here, and I'll give you an interest. But where's the interest coming from? Well, the government collects that interest through taxation. So that means all these people right here collectively choose to give a portion of their labor, which is value, right, collectively to help to pay the interest owed by the government, right, to tax. So what the government uses when it goes to the bank to make a loan, it gives them something of value. It gives them an interest in the labor. Well, that's one way you can look at it, in the labor of the people, because the government is representing the people, right? It represents the interests of the people, because the government has acquired it through the whole process of the Constitution, the whole framework, legal framework. So when we go for a loan, we are going directly to the bank, and we are the one giving them the interest directly. When the government goes on our behalf. They're using our name. They're using our labor as collateral, right? So they're holding the interest and they're giving it to the bank. However, when we go, We're the one giving interest directly, right? And the value right here that this represents, this note represents, is coming directly from us. And therefore, this right here is given to them, and they give the credits, and then we get these IOUs right here, and these IOUs right here that we get, this is the debtor. The debtor. Now we have an option to go directly to the debtor, right? In the very same way right here, if you want to collect this note, you go to the debtor to get the gold. If you want to collect and redeem this, you got to go to the government, because the government is a debtor right here. Anyway, this is just, it's just an idea. It's just a perspective, right? When you read Law Merchant, it gives you a better understanding, and you can look at it a little bit differently, right? So I'm just saying, just think about it, right? Back in the days, this process right here, there's no loan. The loan is for these tokens to play the game of commerce. Same way, these are just tokens. This right here represents the value, the gold. The gold, the value is represented here. Who holds the gold here? This is the bank. The bank is holding the gold, giving the note. This is the gold. The bank is holding the gold, giving the note. Bank is holding the gold, giving the note. The note goes to the bank, which is a merchant. And the merchant gives this and this. This is the debtor right here. Anyway, hope this makes sense. Peace, love, and law.